Aloha, good afternoon, welcome back to TRAXX Midday Buzz with me, Anil On The Mic. Now, nearly 50 years ago, half a century ago, Kuala Lumpur became the stage for a world heavyweight title fight that drew the eyes of the entire world. Not only the sporting world, nor the boxing world, but the entire world. It was a truly historic morning in Malaysia's sporting history. On June the 30th, 1975, the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, defended his world heavyweight crown against Joe Bugner at Stadium Merdeka right here in Kuala Lumpur. Now, Ali, of course, sadly passed away in 2016, and just yesterday, we received the sad news that Joe Bugner as well had passed on at the age of 75. Two giants of the boxing ring, forever linked by that one very fateful morning when Malaysia became the center of the boxing world. Now, before we hear from our special guest who covered the fight, I want to take you back in time and relive how these two champions were introduced to the crowd on that unforgettable day.
Joe Bugner getting a tremendous reception from this crowd.
In the red corner, we have the greatest boxer of our time, defender of the world's boxing crown, from Louisville, Kentucky, USA, weighing in at 225 pounds, wearing white stripes with black stripes, the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali! Muhammad Ali!
Ali introduced as the greatest boxer of all time. One little exchange between Ali and Bugner. Bugner looking totally unconcerned. The weights don't mean much. They weighed in 2 days ago. Ali weighed in at 16 stone 1, Bugner 16 stone 6. So on those weights, 5 pounds advantage, but they could be any weight at all right now. Probably heavier than they weighed. The odds 3-1 on Muhammad Ali for another successful defence of the title. And Bugner bidding to become the greatest British boxing hero of all time. And they come out quite fast in this heat, the temperature in the 80s. It's humid and hot. Jabs smart and fast into the face of Ali.
That was how these two men were introduced to the crowd, and probably we also heard a brief commentary about a minute and a half into the first round of the fight. Joining me after this will be veteran journalist George Das, who covered the fight and experienced firsthand the atmosphere, the build-up, and the legacy of that unforgettable morning. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's Anil On The Mic with you here on TRAXX Midday Buzz. And on the phone lines with me is George Das, a former sports reporter with the Star Publications. And he is going to walk us through his experiences of having the encounter with two great heavyweight boxers who stepped foot on Malaysia back in 1975. They were Joe Bugner as well as the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. George, good afternoon. Welcome.
Same to you.
How are you doing today?
Very good.
Great. So, George, as we know, the second man who was still standing after Muhammad Ali passing in 2016 was Joe Bugner. He passed away yesterday. And so we want to go back to the time when this great big event took place in Malaysia. So take us back to June 1975. What was Kuala Lumpur like in the days leading up to the Ali-Bugner fight? And was there a sense that Malaysia was about to host something that was absolutely historic?
Well, KL in those days was very laid back, but with these two guys coming into Kuala Lumpur, there was excitement in the air.
Right.
Wherever Ali went, he created news. He alone brought probably KL and Malaysia to the world. So both of them actually advertised Malaysia. That's how I look at it.
And what was your personal experience like meeting? Let me start off with Muhammad Ali first. When was the first time you met him when he came here?
Okay, that would be the first time.
Right.
I mean, I was more involved in Ali's camp than Bugner.
Right.
But had occasionally met Bugner too.
Okay.
Ali was probably more flamboyant. And he never failed to give us, the sports writers, stories every day. As for Bugner, he was not flashy, more reserved, and had a dry sense of humor.
A dry sense of humor, okay. Did you have any moments? Did you share any moments communicating, speaking to Bugner?
Not on a personal basis, but at press conferences.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Then press conferences. You had 200 to 300 sports writers from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it always was different. Questions would be posed, and we guys had to stay back because some of those writers were big timers. So, and especially Ali, he knew them by name. So he would call them up. He would call them by name and ask them if they had any questions for him.
Yeah.
So that was how press conferences went, is it?
One of the most prominent boxing journalists who followed Ali everywhere he went was a great man by the name of Howard Cosell.
Well, Howard Cosell was there, but probably for me the greatest boxing writer would have been Red Smith, because Ali always looked up to him. Okay. And sometimes Red Smith advises Ali from the floor. Right. So Red Smith was one great boxing writer.
Right. Now, as a journalist, George, you covered the event. You said that Ali was much more flamboyant. He connected with the press much more, far more than Joe Bugner. But how did you see these two men carry themselves leading up to the fight? What was your assessment of their personalities? How did they handle the heat as well? That was a huge thing because, as most boxing aficionados, sports writers will know, that more than Ali and Bugner preparing to fight each other, they were actually preparing to deal with the scorching heat in Kuala Lumpur back then. So what's your take on this?
Well, I guess they both did not know exactly what kind of a heat that we were, Malaysia had, is it? Of course, Ali was well prepared for it, but even then, going into a fight at 9:45, 10 a.m.
in the morning,
I think they in the morning, I think they didn't realize the humidity, which they never expected, is it? So the fight actually, as one sports writer from the Sun of London mentioned, it was a bore. Because they were leaning on each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Ali was doing the rope-a-dope, and throughout the fight, Joe Bugner will call Ali back, saying, you come to me. You don't call me to come and lean against you against the ropes. You come to me. You come to me. Yeah.
So it was the heat that kind of destroyed the match, I would say.
Wow, really? Okay.
And you have to understand that they fought outdoors, huh? It was not indoors. There was no air conditioning.
Open
nothing.
air.
It was outdoors in Merdeka Stadium. So you can just imagine what it's like.
How far away from the ring were you seated during the match? Were you exactly at ringside, at the press area?
Okay. We were all seated in the press enclosure, which was close to the ring.
Okay.
But honestly, Anil, now when you ask me, I except for a little bit here and there, I can't really remember.
Right. But anyway, you are doing justice.
But the fight went the full length.
15 rounds. It went the distance. Yes.
Yeah, and Ali won on decision, you see.
Yeah.
So it was, but then again, you shouldn't take away Bugner's credit, because he was the number 2 contender.
Yeah.
At that time.
He was the number 2 contender, and he was stepping into the ring to challenge for the 2 titles that Ali had previously already won. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And Bugner was also the European champion.
Yes. The British and Commonwealth as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the fight itself was not the most exciting part. It was the run-up to the fight where Ali was always there with stories for us.
You remember any stories?
There was no lack of stories, actually. I mean, he, after a training session in Stadium Merdeka, he would hang over the ropes and speak to us. And he would always have 1 or 2 short poems. He had a great sense of humor, Ali. Fantastic sense of humor. Did
he recite the famous one, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, the hands can't hit what the eyes can't see, rumble young man, rumble?
No. He didn't do that, because but he would say short lines,
sound bites. Yeah.
Of what he would do to Bugner in the ring, which never happened, of course.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was exciting, because these two, especially Ali, could, any situation he could turn it into something exciting.
Yeah. And I also heard that you had the chance to join him in one of his morning runs, George.
Well, I thought of doing something different.
Okay. And
fortunately for me, I got close to his trainer, Angelo Dundee. So I proposed this thing to him. I said, I would like to do this run with him.
Okay.
Because I certainly I couldn't go into the ring with him.
Okay.
I mean, he could have tied both his hands behind his back and still beaten me.
Yes.
So Dundee said, "Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, I'll arrange something. But are you sure you can wake up early in the morning?" So I asked him, "What time does he go out running?"
Right.
He said, "Well, it could be anything between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m.
Wow. Okay.
So the first day, I arrived at about 3:30 or so, and Ali had already finished his run. So I had to do a repeat performance the next day.
I see.
And this time I got to the Selangor Turf Club track, which was in Jalan Ampang at that time.
Okay.
And I ran with him, and that was my piece for the Star.
Wow, amazing. Did you manage to get something from him? Did he give you a souvenir, something in remembrance of the moment you shared with Muhammad Ali?
No, Anil, I mean, honestly, we reporters never ask or look for anything. It is always looking for that story that would be different from somebody else. You see, that was always. But I did one thing more, which was I rode with him in his limousine back to the hotel.
Right.
And we sat in his presidential suite, and I started to interview him before he told me, "Hey, look, do you want me to recite a poem?" So I said, "Why not?" somebody who wants to recite me, and on top of that, it's Ali. So I said, why not? And he recited this poem, The Heart.
Okay.
And I have it on record.
Wow.
In my little cassette, which I still possess after 50 over years.
That's one priceless piece of memory that you have. That's half a century old. Now, George, thank you very much for recollecting as much as you can to share these things with us. We were talking about, the unexpected humidity that these two boxers, these two fighters didn't really expect to deal with, especially that they had to step foot onto the ring at such an early time in the morning, especially in an outdoor arena, the stadium, open-air stadium.
Yep.
A lot of people would know that the Ali Bugner second fight was actually the precursor to the Thriller in Manila that was supposed to happen between Ali and also Joe Frazier, of which I recollect watching an interview where Muhammad, and in that fight it was actually fought indoors, but then can you imagine indoors with very limited air conditioning? Muhammad Ali even once quoted saying that it was so hot inside, so humid that even the beams, the steel poles were sweating. But I think it's great that you. Yes, go on.
I would like to recounter something else. After the fight, they always had the post press conference.
Mm-hmm.
Ali actually had to go and rest, and he came for the post press conference 15 minutes late.
Wow!
And you won't believe this, Anil. Today, press conferences are held in posh areas and all that.
Yeah.
You know where this press conference was held?
Where?
It was held on the first floor of Stadium Merdeka,
mm-hmm.
in front of the fish head curry restaurant.
A perfect way to wrap up an afternoon of fighting with some fish head curry, maybe.
Yeah. Can you just imagine the aroma from there? And it made us all hungry. I'm sure it must have made Ali also hungry.
Yeah.
But then we all had a job to do, so we never stayed back for fish head curry.
George, finally, on a personal note, as a former journalist yourself, when you think back of that assignment that you had today, and it's almost 50 years, half a century later, what emotions does it stir in you as someone who witnessed and reported on one of the greatest sporting days in Malaysia's sporting history, George?
For me personally, it exposed me to two great personalities, and also meeting some of the top boxing writers.
Mm.
And honestly, when you look back, we will never get an event like this again.
Right.
So it is very historical, and the younger people will never know what a great athlete Muhammad Ali was.
I'm sure after listening to this conversation between the two of us, all of our listeners are going to go and look up Muhammad Ali versus Joe Bugner 2 and start to recollect and sort of associate everything that we spoke of by watching the fight. George, thank you very much for setting aside your time.
You're welcome.
And having this conversation with me. It means a lot for all of us here at RTM.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you, Anil. Cheers.
Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye. And that was veteran journalist George Das, who took us back to one of the greatest sporting mornings Malaysia has ever witnessed in the last 50 years. The world heavyweight title fight between Muhammad Ali and Joe Bugner at Stadium Merdeka in 1975. I can imagine what the heat must have been then. Anyway, Ali having passed in 2016, Bugner just yesterday, both men, they may be gone, but the memory and that unforgettable morning that they created in Kuala Lumpur, I think will always remain a proud part of our history. And we're very thankful that we still have people like George to share with us bits and pieces of whatever he remembers from that very exciting morning. Thank you very much to all of you for staying with me and, taking part and listening to this conversation I had with George. And also as well to producer Anna for helping me out in sorting things out so that we can all share this great memory with all of you here on TRAXX FM. The last to know.